Hello, it's OST episode 4.
Hello.
It's been 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks.
Has it been that long?
Well, yeah, because there'd been the plan to do it on maybe Christopher Nolan, and let's do it on Christopher Nolan, and then it was like, well, okay, maybe we'll just, so then Hans Zimmer, and then it became, let's just do the Dark Knight trilogy because it's manageable. And then we watched them.
No, it wasn't so manageable.
It wasn't so manageable.
It's like 7 hours of movie there, more.
Yeah, ridiculous. And so then, instead of doing any of those things, we're just going to do Mission Impossible Fallout.
There is a link, though. A loose link.
Yeah. Lorne Balfe worked a lot with Hans Zimmer in the past. I think still does, probably. And he scored Mission Impossible. And, yeah, that's the link.
I was reading he actually has, like, a studio within Hans Zimmer's, like, company.
Oh, well,
so
there's
that
a
explains
link.
it.
And Mission Impossible Fallout, good movie.
The new one, yeah.
The review was done. I hadn't watched it at the time, but I did just sit on the sofa with my headphones in at one point, so you can watch that. Yeah. So now we're going to talk about the soundtrack.
Where should we start? Should we start with our knowledge of the previous ones and go from there as a reference point?
Yeah, I suppose that'd probably be a good idea. I've not watched Mission Impossible 1.
I have so long ago, I can't remember anything about it. All you need to know is the theme.
Yeah,
which
I watched
everyone knows.
Mission Impossible 2 on like ITV 1 or something when I was maybe 7.
Yeah.
So, and I thought it was kind of lame, to be honest, even as a 7-year-old.
It's very,
so this is lame.
It's a sign of the times, that movie.
Yeah. And then we watched 3 the other night, just by chance. I thought, you know what? If I'm going to watch Fallout, I need to watch Rogue Nation, I was told.
Yeah.
Well, you should. You can get away with not, but you should. And then I thought, well, you may as well watch the one before that. And, fuck it, let's watch the one before that as well. Because you can tell by the posters when they started getting better. 3, I was like, 3 is pretty much the point where they started being like, right, let's make these films okay then. Let's actually make an effort. And it was J.J. Abrams or something he directed.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams directed, and his boy, Giacchino,
Michael Giacchino. He scored 3. And that was good. I thought it was a good soundtrack.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, I heard
Didn't
lots
do much for me.
impossibilisms.
Yeah.
The Impossibles, Incredibles, whatever. Fuck it. I can't speak anymore. Sorry about that.
The Impossibles.
I don't know why. It's Mission Impossible, isn't it? That's where that came from. Yeah, I thought his version of the theme was good anyway. I hadn't listened to the rest of it at all. I just thought his version of the theme was good.
Has there been a bad version of the MI theme yet?
No, just his was particularly good, IMO.
His was very sort of classical,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Didn't watch...
I mean, it's the Brad Bird one.
Yeah.
Don't even know who did the music for that one, but whatever.
It was Giacchino again.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So I assume it's somewhat similar.
Yeah. But no. Rogue Nation, fuck. There are so many of them.
I find the names very confusing.
Well, they're very similar things to them, don't they? Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation. It's just edgy words.
All of the words like fit into the same bracket.
So, yeah, Rogue Nation's score was... Yeah, it was Rogue Nation. Fuck, I had to just like double check that in my head. Was someone called Joe Kramer. He did that fucking Tom Cruise film, Jack Reacher.
Oh, Jack Reacher, yeah.
Which is like okay.
Remember nothing about the music though.
I don't know either, but the music in Rogue Nation was pretty good. Yeah.
Again, I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I just remember the bit and the opening was very nicely handled. Where I just like it when a film isn't afraid to just use its theme. This is our theme. We're going to use it. It's a good theme. We're not going to fuck about. We're not going to hide from it. We're just going to use it because it works and you can, do cool things with it.
Well, like, you remember the little tangent, the Pacific Rim theme?
Yeah.
When I watched the sequel the other day.
Yeah.
And they just kind of abandoned it for some reason.
Yeah.
It's in there a couple times, but it's like in the main moments you want it, they don't use it, but these new Mission Impossibles aren't afraid to.
Oh, Christ, no. They're just like, fuck it, let's use it as much as we can. So, that's a good time to move into Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout, because it does use its theme like a lot, but it also brings in other, I guess, themes for different things. So you got like the baddie themes and shit like that. They actually have these. You could hum them. I can't recall them right now, but you can actually hum these different things because there's a blend of, I guess, conventional like thematic soundtrack and Hans Zimmer's style, or the thing that Hans Zimmer popularized of just like lots of violins and drums and noise.
Yeah, it was like a perfect mix for me.
Yeah, I thought it was I actually like it. I actually like listening through it.
So do I. It's so like exciting.
Mhm.
It makes anything you're doing exciting.
Yeah, it makes everything
Walking the dog,
exciting. Yeah.
going to the gym,
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, I was listening to it. I went for a run the other day, and I went for a run, and I queued the Mission Impossible Fallout track, just called Fallout. I recommend you listen to that right now, so you can get an idea of just how fucking awesome it is. And it was like, wow, this has got me so pumped to like keep running a little bit, because I was getting really tired at this point. And then I did run for a little bit more, but then ultimately I couldn't, because I'm not Ethan Hunt and I'm not Tom Cruise, and I can't run for anywhere near as long as Tom Cruise can. He can really run fast for lengthy periods of time.
Do you have a couple of like shout out tracks you think are the best from the score?
Yeah, there's Fallout, The Exchange, Freefall.
That's my favourite one.
Really good. And there's one more that I'm blanking on the name of.
I really like the White Widow.
Yeah,
which is
that one. Whenever that one
piano
comes
piece.
up, that's good.
That's right after Freefall, that one.
I have to look at the names now on Spotify because I'm drawing a blank. There is one that I remember saving specifically. Well, I have all of them saved now, but at the time when I was listening through it, I was like, remember that one.
Mission Accomplished?
Well, Mission Accomplished was the first one I saved. I think, that's Stairs and Rooftops is good. Stairs and Rooftops is good. Change of Plan. Yeah, Change of Plan. That was it. That's the other one.
You're saying it's in like a weird order or something on Spotify.
Yeah, some of it doesn't seem like it's in the right order for the film, so it's a bit all over the place. But then they seem to use in the film just take bits from all over the place.
Yeah.
That's what you should do.
Loads of movies do that, but I was specifically trying to find the piece from my favorite action sequence in the movie, which I won't spoil. But it's like a chase effectively, and I really wanted to listen to the music. And there are bits of it in the soundtrack. It's all there.
Stairs and Rooftops is the closest you get to it.
But then it's also got flashes of like the White Widow theme in there.
Speaking
and
of
stuff.
flashes, did I just hallucinate like a bright white flash on what?
On what?
Over there. I thought I saw a bright white flash. Okay. Well,
Alien?
I've lost it, so
The Scientologists are coming for you.
I like Tom, alright? He's alright.
I like him as well.
He's kind of weird, but I like him in a weird way. I like Tom Cruise. I see Tom Cruise in a film, I'm a little bit more like, at least Tom Cruise is here.
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, 30 years ago or whenever the Scientologists got a hold of him, they just replaced him with, like, a robot. Like, there's the perfect human robot. Because, like, in all the behind the scenes, they're like, wow, he was so good at learning everything, and he picked it up really fast. It's like,
That's an android.
Yeah.
That's a fucking android. He's not Tom Cruise anymore. People say he doesn't age, but he is aging a little bit. You can see it.
Just starting to notice it.
Around his mouth. He's getting those jowls. But he'll just get those removed. Get them injected with something.
He's going to look so weird when he's like 80.
It's going to look really strange. But that's not anything to do with the soundtrack. That's just a Tom Cruise
needed
tangent.
to be mentioned, though.
What an excellently used score in that film.
I think it made the film, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because there have always been impressive stunts and action sequences and moments in previous Mission Impossibles, but there's never been anything to like tie it all together. And the score in Fallout specifically perfectly kind of defines the pace of the whole thing and really drives it forward with that sense of momentum. It just doesn't stop.
And that's really excellently achieved with the whole, it achieves it by also achieving a really nice blend, like I said earlier, of I guess an older soundtrack that might, or not even older soundtrack, just a conventional thematic soundtrack with hummable moments and Hans Zimmer noise. I don't know what you do. I don't know a word to just like to call it. I'm not sure if there is a word because I don't study music. I just have this interest. So
yeah, like we get fed up with the Hans Zimmer noise thing, but he seems to have just learned like perfectly the good and bad things about it and how to use it properly in a films like this that should be full of.
There are still all the like fast violins and shit. But then there'll also be.
That's fine though. It's just, as like on its own as like a tension building device, but you need something to draw it all together.
Brass section in with it, just that is hummable.
Yeah.
So it's not just this. I don't know, like Well, it's hard for me to think what is an example of a bad attempt at a Hans Zimmer noise score, because Hans Zimmer does it and it's fine. It's like a bit aggravating after a while when but it is.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer, he makes some good like compositions, but I find they can be quite repetitive. Interstellar, for example.
Yeah, I mean, one of Hans Zimmer's best, just because this was kind of always going to be a little bit about him. Just also Mission Impossible.
Well, because he did a Mission Impossible score. He did the second movie.
Yeah. Man of Steel, that's one of the best ones in my opinion, one of his best, straight up.
Yeah.
Not like a super amazing film, but...
That was around the time the kind of drum trend was really taking off, where like every film had the thing.
But he did it best.
Yeah.
Because that's what he
does.
does.
Junkie XL and him did it for that, didn't they? And then he went on
but
to do
Junkie
Mad
XL
Max.
gets like no mention in it.
Yeah, I always find that with Hans Zimmer. Like, no one knows about Lorne Balfe, even though he's been working with him for
there's something
decades.
interesting is, like, I know of some people who, they listen to soundtracks, and they think they know about it, but they only listen to Marvel and Hans Zimmer, and I'm just like, that's the most normie soundtrack knowledge ever, and they would argue with me that that Hans Zimmer's the best. And that the Marvel soundtracks are really good, all of them, even like Thor: The Dark World and shit.
Right.
And I'm just like, what are you talking about? What?
They've never seen anything like independent.
No, I mean, they thought Black Panther was really good because of the cinematography. They probably learned the word on the day of watching the film because it's got colours in it.
Yeah,
anyway, again, it's a fucking tangent. I need to focus on the Mission Impossible. It's really hard to describe something that it's just so there's a lot going on there, and I don't know how. I can't think of words to describe the strings in it. I can't think of a word. How would you describe that? I'm just
strings. I don't know.
Fast violin.
I mean, when you say Hans Zimmer tension strings, similar to Dunkirk.
Well, yeah, I guess everyone knows. Everyone knows what you mean.
I'm pretty sure Lorne Balfe also worked on Dunkirk, and you do hear flashes of that kind of style of tension building. But again, it also has the other layers, and also like a really wide range of instruments and techniques used.
Well, I noticed the synth that you said about that. I hadn't really been listening for it, but there's little bits of it.
Yeah,
little spatterings of synth, especially in Freefall. I heard it.
Yeah,
makes sense. Like a lot in that. Just watch the fucking movie, all right? Just go and watch it if you've not already, and you have the chance to go to the cinema. Watch it, and just. And let's try and listen out for the soundtrack as well. I mean, it's hard not to because they don't like mix it quietly. Like it's right there. Mm-hmm. The sound they knew it was good.
It carries it.
Yeah,
it drives like every action sequence.
There's the track I said about the exchange is this really like amazing attenuation of the Mission Impossible theme, or the main the core, like, I guess the fucking melody or whatever. What do you call it? Melody, notes? I don't fucking know.
Composition.
Yeah, the core of the Mission Impossible theme is attenuated across this really tense, slow build up to an exchange.
You seem to have the most fun with it. You like played around with it a lot, and in a lot of the tracks you hear just a couple of notes from the theme just thrown in kind of naturally. I also noticed I want to say a new like composition or theme was made for the previous one at points, and they called back to it a couple times in this movie. I'm pretty sure.
I want to say it was when they were talking about the Syndicate and things like that.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Theme that came back because
there must have been like 4 or 5 different like motifs in there.
Yeah, there were. It was. I mean, I haven't listened to it enough properly to know things by track name yet. Yeah, I've always been listening to it when I'm walking around, not just sitting and listening to it. But something else that comes to mind, I said about attenuating the theme. There's the track Fallout, which is just the Mission Impossible theme. It's like on there twice. So there's that, and there's Mission Accomplished, which are both the theme of Mission Impossible. Except Mission Accomplished is way more conventionally the theme, whereas Fallout is this really modern, dramatic sounding version of it, where there's like these breaks between the da-na-na, dun-dun-dun. It's like that. It's really fucking over the top, but perfect in every way.
And there was that unique thing that when I was listening to that track, Freefall, there's a scene where Tom Cruise looks over down at like a storm from above.
It looks amazing.
And in the movie, you might not notice it, but in the track, I was trying to figure out what the technique was, because there's this really strange kind of stringed noise.
58 seconds into the track, if you go to like...
It's obvious. It sounds like thunder.
Yeah, it's what I would think if you were trying to make thunder just in a song. And
but it's not like they just shoved in the thunder sound effect into the song.
It's thunder, but not personified, but
turn
into,
and obviously like that combined with the sound design of the scene must create a really interesting effect. I'm looking forward to seeing it again.
Yeah.
So I can actually notice that in the film and how it's
I'd
used.
actually like to see it in the cinema again, is the thing. I'd really like to go and see it in the cinema. I can't believe that a Mission Impossible film has had this much impact on me. That's like that might be my favourite film of the year, at least so far. It maybe even topples Infinity War, which was pretty fucking
It's more impressive.
Yeah, it is. Infinity War was really good and all, but yeah, Mission Impossible is impressive in a different way. And it's just nice to have a kind of just like a one-off film. You could just watch that film, and it's just a fucking action film, and it's fucking awesome. And Tom Cruise is being like the last leading man in Hollywood, basically.
That isn't The Rock.
He is like the last action hero now, for me. Because I don't really count
Henry Cavill.
Whatever, man. But he's, and there's so much personality in that film, and you hear it in the soundtrack. The way there was just a clear idea of what are we doing with this film.
It's very cohesive.
We're gonna go this way, and we're gonna keep going this way.
I was reading, fucking Ralph thinks that there's temp music in the film, and I was doing some research on it, and I found an interview where Belf specifically said they didn't use any temp music. I didn't hear anything when I've seen it twice and listened to the soundtrack a bunch, and I thought that's really fucking good. Like that they trusted him enough. They must have given him plenty of time to develop it, because you can tell when a soundtrack's rushed. Be it something like Pacific Rim, he probably squirted that out.
Yeah, definitely.
As a little paycheck to fund like projects like this. But
The Last Resort was another good track. It obviously ties in with the end of the film, I think. It was just these moments where when I'm listening to the soundtrack, I'm not recalling the film, and it evokes the feeling of what I'm like, that was probably that bit of the film, because I don't remember exactly where the soundtrack darts around all over the place in the film. But listening to it, it does take me back to all those moments, and I really feel like, wow, that was just what an experience of a film.
I think it's going to be overlooked. We're already seeing it a bit just because of the name, Mission Impossible. People have a certain expectation, and they just say, oh, the stupid Mission Impossible theme, that's goofy, and then forget about the rest. Maybe if it was, I'd say I think I actually prefer this soundtrack over something like the Fury Road one, which I'd never listened to. I like it within the movie, and it works within the movie. Yeah,
there are a few tracks I'll listen to sometimes, but I think
like the Fury Road one is more of an example of kind of a noisy ambient sort of soundtrack with, it doesn't have many compositions aside from the loose kind of beats they throw in there.
Yeah. Excellent in the film though.
Nothing to take away from it. I think that's perfect for it. But
and that's still, because a soundtrack isn't necessarily about whether you can listen to it outside of
No, that's just a factor for me, and if I like it or not.
But this one that just makes it even better is that I do just listen to it. I do just put it on and shuffle the soundtrack now. I mean, I obviously listen through it in order first. I'm not a degenerate, right? And then I'll shuffle it. So
it complements the film nicely. Most importantly, it doesn't overbear. It just suits perfectly. It's like if you sit down and you're shown the footage from a film like this, it is the perfect thing you imagine to complement it, to drive the tension, to make it an effective sort of action soundtrack.
See, I find it hard with episodes like this, although we've only done, this is the 4th, but I've often thought, what about when there are those episodes where you're talking about one specific score And so much of it has to be spoken about with the film, but you don't want to talk too much about the film because you're trying. It's meant to be a show just about the soundtrack, but it's impossible not to talk about both things because it was made
talk
for
about how
it.
it was used. And
Yeah, it was made for it, and just about how it's used. And this is one of those ones where you can't avoid it, but I'm trying not to because there's too many moments I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to spoil. It's very difficult.
Luckily, a lot of the tracks are just kind of loosely named around. There's a free fall, not really a spoiler.
I mean, there are two track names I really like. Just Fate whispers to the warrior in the next track, and the warrior whispers back. It's said in the film. Wait, hang on. Is there a track on here called I Am the Storm? Oh, God, what a fucking movie. Jesus Christ. You got to go and watch it. You got to go and see it. See, normally we just do things that everyone's seen already, so you can just talk about the film perfectly. So this one was difficult, or has been difficult so far. So next time we won't talk about something that's brand new, we'll talk about something that's been out for a while, so we can just... And everyone will have seen it, because I can't imagine everyone will have seen Mission Impossible by now.
Yeah. I mean, I was just like searching other action movie scores as some kind of point of reference. We don't get many action movies like this anyway, if you remove superhero movies.
Yeah.
But even comparing it to superhero movies, it's leagues above.
What's another action film that came out?
Skyscraper, yeah.
What a fucking joke.
I don't even remember the music on it. That'll be one that's just like, they just throw in incompetent music, probably.
Well, that will just be temp music, won't it? I wonder who actually did the music for that, if there's anyone we know.
It's probably impossible to find.
I know. I mean, I feel like I could find it right now. Steve Jablonsky.
Oh, really?
Steve Jablonsky did it. What the fuck, Steve? Come on, man.
He's done some good stuff.
Yeah, he has, and some great stuff.
But also, like, some total garbage.
Actually, I remember when we watched it, I checked immediately who had done it, and then I looked through everything he's done over the past few years, and it was just saying, oh my God, Steve.
Paycheck of Blonsky.
Because, he went from doing Gears of War, and he came up with some really great stuff for Gears of War. Like, it sounded like he cared about that project.
Yeah.
And then Transformers, he did a good job as well. Even though the film's a complete shit and all that. But, some good stuff in the first Transformers score.
It makes you wish they were better.
Yeah,
so
it
the
does.
Music would actually, like...
make you feel something.
Yeah.
It isn't just, like, disappointment.
Like, the last great action movie is probably Baby Driver, but it's not original music.
No, it's not. So...
It's just nothing, man. And then it goes way back to, like, Fury Road and The Dark Knight, which we already, like, sort of mentioned anyway. John Wick?
Yeah, John Wick and The Raid are the only others, but they're quite in their own thing because they're, like, fighting films. Not, like...
It captures the scale for the Fallout score.
Yeah.
It seems suitably kind of epic.
Yeah, well, it's very grand, isn't it? Got these huge...
Loads of layers of things just building on top of each other.
I don't want to hum it, but in freefall there's a, like... Dun, dun, dun,
yeah.
dun,
on top of,
dun,
like...
dun, dun.
Isn't there a point where the bongos come in again? In that track.
Christ, we didn't even talk about the fucking bongos. There are so many bongos littered across that score, and it's perfect. Every fight scene just needs bongos in a film. Every fight scene needs bongos.
I was thinking about it, yeah. I noticed, I happened to see the trailer for The Incredibles 2 again. Noticed a bit of bongo in there.
Yeah.
And it captures, like, that kind of spy 50s thing they're going for pretty well.
So good.
It's such good. You don't automatically think bongos. When you think bongos, you think Goofy.
Well, I just by chance had been showing someone Thunderbirds who didn't know about it the old time, because I used to love that when I was a kid. I thought Thunderbirds was fucking so awesome. And the theme that has it's just that 60s really dramatic.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun, and then that actually comes into Mission Impossible, and it has that kind of style of being really.
It's a total callback.
It's super dramatic. Oh my God, what are we gonna do, guys? The hero, he's got to fight, and it's gonna be a close call, but he'll do it in the end, maybe. But will he? You don't know. Oh shit! And it's one of those.
In that sense, it's kind of like the Indiana Jones kind of era of that campy action, where it's all about.
You might not do it, but he'll do it in the end. But will he? It did leave me questioning a lot that film. There's loads of moments where, because you have this desire to believe, because we watch a lot of films, you've been conditioned to just think, the hero always wins. And you in bad films or bad action films, you can always be like, yeah, all right, so he's going to get punched, and then he's going to punch them back twice, but then they're going to hit him 3 times. Then he'll hit back really hard, and then ultimately, yeah, there you go, he saves the day. The tension is never believable, even though it makes you, what is it, you suspend your disbelief, yeah. It actually makes you do it, and you're like, oh shit, what if?
Like when we saw Skyscraper, did you ever think he wasn't gonna save the skyscraper? Woo. Next episode, Skyscraper. No, I'm never listening to that.
I'm not doing that. Next episode,
Steve Jablonsky.
I actually think...
Just leave it a mystery, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, The Dark Knight Rises needs a roasting. The Dark Knight trilogy needs to be spoken about.
Yeah, I suppose we've seen 2/3 of them now. Just really don't want to watch Batman Begins.
No, you didn't see that. Something neat about that is that every track is named after a species of bat.
Yeah,
that's
and then
cool.
It spells Batman, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, which is cool. Because that one's actually really...
It's a cute attention to detail.
It's quite it's actually quite typical, that soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Quite
From
good.
what I remember.
Yeah. The sad songs, fight songs.
I suppose then you can also
songs.
mention, because Hans Zimmer also did fucking Batman and BVS as well.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a little
Totally
episode just
forgot
on
about
Hans Zimmer and Batman. Hans Zimmer just keeps coming up because he's just managed to worm into everything somehow.
He's incredibly prolific, like him or not. He's done some of the most famous scores, most well known, and a bunch of them are excellent.
What would your Mission Impossible soundtrack? Add an arbitrary figure that you'll just say a number.
I don't know, because we haven't rated the previous ones. As far as an action movie soundtrack goes, I'd probably give it like an 8 or 9.
Hell yeah.
And I don't think they're gonna, unless he comes back and works on like a project in a similar way for a similar amount of time, I don't know if they can recapture.
They might just bring him back. They brought back Giacchino.
Yeah. I don't know if this was just like the director knew exactly the sound he wanted, or if they just let Balfe do what he wanted.
After how much praise this film was getting critically, they know the studio, whatever, Tom Cruise he's not a fucking idiot. He would know that everyone that was involved in that one needs to be there for.
It just seems like the one thing that's always overlooked though is the music.
What, in Mission Impossible, or just everything?
Just in general. Yeah. Like they see when like a film is a success.
Well, that's the reason we did start doing this anyway. It was because no one talks about the fucking music unless it's Pixar.
Or if they do, it's very brief.
Yeah.
It's like, man, the music was awesome, bro.
Or if it's Star Wars.
Yeah. John Williams.
And they just say John Williams did another amazing soundtrack. All the Star Wars, whatever. All the music was just, oh my god. I love that bit when Darth Vader theme. Ugh!